there is nothing more important than innovation that I can always that, that I, from anything that I can think of. Rather, the whole human race has benefited from this, and innovation is not only something which happens in a business, it happens in society, it happens in the social system, it happens in the economic system, whether it is the in discovery of fire or it is the formation of the joint stock company. All of these are various um, innovations which have actually helped the human race go ahead. And even after a discovery like fire has been made, the use of that in various other things and leveraging that particular discovery is all about innovation. So innovation is a fundamental for the human race, and I think that's the reason why the human race been has been able to leapfrog ahead any other race. When I look at innovation in a very business context, um, there are two things which come to my mind. One is what is known as the disruptive innovation, and the other is what I call as continuous innovation. Now, organizations take effort so that disruptive and continuous innovation both are pursued with rigor, and the organization therefore benefits from that. Now, take an example. Just take an example. So let's take a company like Nokia. It was a market leader in cellular phones, handphones. Now, after that, when BlackBerry Research in Motion came with a new technique and with the new concept of the BlackBerry phones, uh, that became a big hit and gave run to Nokia for money. And then after that came Apple with its iPhone. Now, and to the extent that RIM is now, people say that it's run out of ideas and therefore the company is in a tough shape and there are revamp plans, buyout, takeover plans, and so is not only for RIM, it's also for Nokia. Now, the interesting thing is that when there is a disruptive trend, what happens is that the company which benefits from that grows rapidly, and it really grows fast. The important aspect here is, whenever we are talking of disruptive, is to take the trend and make it into a platform so that continuously new things keep on coming out using the disruptive technology. Very often disruptive things are technology, and disruptive things are found out in labs, the research labs and universities, where there is a lot of work happening on this front, and monetizing is largely left to corporates in that case. So the corporate, which is a fast mover, which can identify trends, can be in touch with all these research hubs and create a platform and monetize it and create a platform out of it, and therefore scale up. That is the kind of corporate which is required. Now, disruptive is not necessarily only for products. It can also be for business models. So two of the business models which have been found to be disruptive and have really added value to the world is one which is practiced by a company called Infosys, though the company TCS was the first to practice that, but Infosys made the model of IT outsourcing driven by the technology trends into a very, very disruptive model, and that then extended into call centers. That is now getting into data analytics and data processing. So anywhere where data can be used and manipulated, that can be sent over wire to any other place and therefore can be handled. The other are companies in China which have made manufacturing outsourcing as a very disruptive kind of a trend and a new business model which every company in the world now adopts. The manufacturing bases have shifted from Japan or Europe to Korea, and then from Korea to China and Taiwan. So that's an extremely disruptive business model, and companies which have been able to ride that wave have been successful. While the disruptive business models happen once a while and there is continuous effort going on to find those things out and monetize once the trend is found out, what managers do on a daily basis is continuous innovation. Now, there can't be a better explanation for continuous innovation than the company Toyota. Now, if you look at Toyota, when the company started, when the Toyota engineers visited Ford, which had already done so well on mass production, but when they studied the processes and systems of Ford, they said that there's a lot of muda or waste in the Ford processes, and therefore the Toyota processes can be made in a manner that's far better, and can have a competitive edge. So operational processes, manufacturing processes were at the heart of Toyota's continuous innovation. But Toyota doesn't stop at that. Its very famous JIT, which reduces the working capital requirement as well as puts technological innovation at the forefront, that compared with lean. And when it went into manufacturing processes, uh, they started doing things like so on one production line, typically what used to happen is that in one product line only one variant of a car would come. Now when the market was was not predictable, the orders would come, and the production line concept was getting flawed because the orders would not come in a series or in a sequence as they would want. So therefore the production line concept as to one model for one line was flawed. And so then Toyota decided to relook at this business model, and then they created a new one where across on one production line, a particular platform of cars could be made. So therefore you would have several models on one production line. Now this is mind-boggling innovation. Now the way the story goes is that in 1980s someone told Toyota that the that their blueprints of the loom and all had been of the plant has been stolen. So what Toyota said was that it doesn't really matter because the blueprints are of the practice which we used to adopt 10 years back. So the stolen blueprints, which will actually help the thief, will only help him set up something which we used to do 10 years ago. That's the power of continuous innovation. I think continuous innovation is so fundamental, and it's totally in the control of managers who are doing the work day in and day out, managers and the work teams who are doing the work day in day out, and they can find out where can they build more efficiency, and at the end of the day what can they do in one word if we describe: faster, better, and cheaper. So continuous innovation is making everything work in a manner so that it's faster, better, and cheaper. Now if we look at working capital, one can say that how can we reduce working capital? That's continuous discovery. That's continuous innovation. Constant reduction of working capital over a period of time. That helps the organization. Faster processes, faster turnaround, better management of inventory. All of these are things which go into continuous innovation. So while there is a lot of fanfare about disruptive innovation, I would also say that organizations must stress a lot on continuous innovation and therefore deriving the optimal benefits from it.